Hi, I'm Andy Ruzicka with your August 4th, 2020 election update. The ballot had a mix of local and statewide issues and candidates for voters to consider. Locally, in the St. Louis Circuit Attorney primary race, incumbent Kim Gardner won 60% of the vote over Mary Pat Carl to place her on the November ballot. Current treasurer for St. Louis City, Tashara Jones, defeated Jeffrey Boyd's challenge with 58% of the vote to continue on as her role as treasurer. Here's a bit of her victory speech.
People care about if they're being treated fairly by their government, and they care that they're being heard. And people know that that's the case with me running the treasurer's office. And so, this campaign was ran with the people in mind. It was grit and tenacity, and this is the leadership that our city needs right now.
On the state level, a surprising upset victory for Cori Bush, who narrowly defeated incumbent Lacey Clay to represent District 1 for the U.S. House of Representatives. Should Bush win the seat in November, she could become the first African-American woman to represent Missouri in Washington, D.C. Here's a bit of Cori's victory speech.
Today, the people of St. Louis made a decision. From all corners of Missouri's 1st District, our communities have embraced a bold, fearless vision of real change that is regular, everyday, where regular, everyday people like us can feel it. Today, the people won.
Clay held the seat for 20 years, and his father, William Clay, held it for 32, representing a dramatic change from a 52-year run for the seat. For governor, Nicole Galloway has won the primary to face off against incumbent Mike Parson. The state of Missouri also voted to pass Constitutional Amendment Number 2, the expansion of Medicaid, with a narrow margin of 53% of the vote. I had the chance to speak with Dr. Frederick Eccles about the implications of passing the amendment. So, Dr. Eccles, can you tell me what are the benefits to expanding Medicaid in the Amendment 2 bill?
The greatest benefit for Amendment 2 is increasing access to essential health care services for our most vulnerable populations, particularly those individuals who are elderly on the brink of retirement, who may have lost their insurance, those individuals who have chronic medical conditions, and those who make less than 138% of the federal poverty level, so those who make less than $18,000 per year. So those are really our most vulnerable populations who typically have a difficult time meeting the current eligibility criteria for Medicaid. So by expanding Medicaid, we actually bridge this gap. So those individuals who are on the brink of being eligible can now have access to services. And in turn, that would allow us to improve health outcomes for our most vulnerable populations.
How will it benefit city residents?
Absolutely. So overall across the state, we expect that an additional 230,000 individuals will be eligible for this public health insurance option, or this public insurance option. In the city of St. Louis, roughly 25% of our residents live below the federal poverty level. So we have a significant number of individuals in the city of St. Louis who will now become eligible for these essential health care services.
So many health organizations have come out in support, and of course you're advocating the passage as well. Why have so many statewide health organizations been behind the bill?
I think when we look at the health outcomes across the state of Missouri, one, we identified that a lot of the trends that we're seeing are not new. So the only way to really address these issues is by doing something different. By giving the community an opportunity to vote for Medicaid, to expand Medicaid, this is something new, it's something sustainable, and is necessary.
So Missouri, can you tell me Missouri's been behind a bit on expanding it in the past, and this is kind of an initiative to bring us kind of back up to the national level?
Well, when you look at the amount that the state has put into public health and health care, per capita, we spend less than any other state in the U.S. And so when we see the health outcomes in not only our rural communities, but our urban and our suburban communities, it should not be surprising. But we have an opportunity now to implement a sustainable solution.
But for the opposition, that says this is going to raise taxes. Will this raise taxes in a substantive level, or does it kind of nominative for what the benefits will be for the bill?
No, it'll actually pay for itself. So right now, the state contributes about 35% to Medicaid, but by expanding Medicaid, the state's contribution will be reduced to 10%. So it'll actually be a cost savings for the state of Missouri.
So in these times during COVID, does this have any impact on that as well?
Absolutely. What we're seeing during the COVID-19 pandemic is an exacerbation of those pre-existing conditions. And so one of the things we have to do is create a better foundation for our most vulnerable populations. And by expanding Medicaid, we're able to do just that.
More election results from the St. Louis Board of Elections can be found online at stlouis-mo.gov/elections. Be sure to exercise your right to vote on November 3rd. I'm Andy Ruzicka. Thanks for watching.